Greetings everyone, Blugoblin here for my comic book review for this week in June 2010, and yes, I got the date right this time, so I got a stack of books to cover, so let's just go ahead and get started. Let's start things off with Avengers Academy #1. Now, what can I say about this particular book? This is nothing more than a simple introduction of the team. It's just, hey, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so. Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. That's all this is, a simple introduction. Nothing more, nothing less. And, excuse me for the light. I mean, it's nothing more, nothing less than that. Christos Gage, Mike McCone, they do the work for this book. It is reminiscent of Avengers The Initiative, but it's just there, but it was an okay read. Whether or not I want to put this title on my pull list or not, at this point, I'm still going to have to say no, but if the title impresses me enough in the future, who knows? Maybe. But right now, still no. Jesus. Uncanny X-Men 525. Matt Fraction, what are you doing to me? I keep trying to give the X-Men a chance. I try from the bottom of my heart because I am an X-Men fan. But it's just, what? What am I reading? You know, when Second Coming first started, I saw it as a slow start. And then it went to meh, and then Nightcrawler's death, which was to me. And then now I see, all I'm seeing now is everybody's bitching and yelling at each other. It's like everybody's mad at each other. Cyclops is, acting like a jerk. Character developments are a bit off, and then I read this issue and I see nothing more than a unoriginal rehashing of Days of Future Past. That's not even a good rehashing, and it's just, why do I continue to give this book a try? You know what? Instead of tossing it, I'm gonna have a little guest of mine do something with this book.
This ought to do it. Oh no!
Nice one. Yeah, that's what I think about Uncanny right now. Very disappointing. Let's move on. Booster Gold #33. Given and Demantes. I hope I pronounced those names right. Still, this is just, wow, fantastic stuff. I was skeptical about this series after Dan Jurgens got off of it, but it's still just great stuff. Booster Gold is another one of those heroes, in my opinion, that is so underrated. I mean, anybody who's not reading Booster Gold right now should start reading it. It's fantastic. This is very good. Yes, there's humor, but yes, there's more humor now, but there's still a lot of heavy seriousness going on, and this is the direct tie-in to Justice League Generation Lost, which has been very good in my opinion as well. But this is another solid issue of Booster Gold. Pick that book up. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Speaking of Generation Lost, let's move on to that. Justice League Generation Lost #3. Long story short, issues 1 and 2 for me were fantastic. Really reminiscent of classic JLI stuff, and this is no different. This may, in my opinion, this may be the weakest issue of Generation Lost, but we're only 3 issues in, so that's not really saying much. However, it's still just fantastic. I loved it. You know, I'm starting to become more of a fan of the underrated heroes now. You know, don't get me wrong, I still love heroes like Spider-Man, Green Lantern, and Batman, you know, stuff like that, heroes like that. But I'm starting to recognize and starting to show more respect for the underused heroes or the underrated heroes like Booster Gold, like Fire and Ice, like Blue Beetle, like Captain Atom. You know, this was great. This was a refreshing read for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all 3 issues so far, and I'm glad this is on my pull list. Yes, I put Justice League Generation Lost on my pull list, as well as Brightest Day in general. Great stuff here. If you're looking for a good read, if you're looking for some good reading, pick this up. Very good. Very, very good. Moving along, Titans #24. Yeah, I'm reviewing Titans again. However, I gotta say, Sean McKeever nearly killed it for me. I mean, Sean McKeever clearly does not know how to write the Titans. Yet when he got off, and JT Cruel wrote it for a while, I got back on board, and now we got Wallace and Fiorentino with Mayhew on here, and wow, very good stuff. Very good stuff. The target here is Lex Luthor, according to Deathstroke. This takes place immediately after the Villains for Hire special, which, in my opinion, I liked it. I liked the conflict between this team of villains and the Atom. I don't mind if they killed the Atom. I just didn't like what they did with him after they killed him. You know, putting his body in a matchbox. Little spoiler there. But I had fun reading it. I know not everybody liked it, but you know, in my opinion, I actually did like it, and this is a direct continuation of that, and it's a very good one. I'm back on board for Titans now, and it's always good to see Deathstroke in the comic books. I've always been a huge Slade Wilson fan. Very nice stuff. I recommend you give it a try. Who knows? You might be surprised. Speaking of surprises, here's going to be a shocker for you. Batman 700 is here, and I know this was Mark's pick of the week. Mark, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I was disappointed. Let me explain. It's 4 separate stories. Batman of yesterday, today, tomorrow, and beyond. All written by Grant Morrison, which is fine. You know, I've never been a 100% fan of Grant Morrison because sometimes he writes a story that just makes you want to scratch your head and go, what the hell did I just read? You know, if you don't believe me, just read Return of Bruce Wayne. Of course, that's my opinion, and opinions will vary. But here's another opinion. This book is not worth $5. It's the size. I got to agree with my friend Craig, my buddy Craig. He said, you know, this is a regular size book with pinup art, and yet another rendition of the Batcave, like we haven't seen the Batcave before. It's just a bunch of pinup art on a regular size issue, and they charge you $5 for it. Sorry, but that does not impress me. It would have impressed me a lot more if this was a double-size issue. It's basically about 30-something pages of story. If it was 60-something pages, like Amazing Spider-Man 600 was, another shout-out to Craig here. But I agree with him. If it was the same size as Spider-Man 600, then this would have been great. But because it's a regular-size book with just extra artwork for $5, sorry. I'm not saying it's a failure, but it's certainly not a success. It was good for what it was story-wise, but too many artists, too much pinup art. It just doesn't do it for me. But what does do it for me is my pick of the week this week, and it's Secret 622. Gail Simone, wow. Now, before I get started with this review, I want to tell everybody that I hardly ever read solicits because I'm one of those comic book fans that doesn't like to be spoiled. I look for surprises. I look for cliffhangers. I look for drama. I look for suspense in an upcoming story. If I'm going to read a solicit and find out what apparently may happen in the future, then where's the fun in reading a book? You know, so this may have been out on a solicit already, but I feel like there's something I should tell you. I was recently on Twitter, maybe about a couple weeks ago, and I sent a tweet to Gail Simone, and I said, hey Gail, big fan. I'm a big fan of your work. Are there any plans for Secret 6? And I was thinking that she would not respond. I was like, she's probably not going to respond. And then just, you know, just a couple hours later, I get a response from Gail Simone, and she told me, yes, Blugoblin, I indeed do have big plans for Secret 6, including 2 legendary artists with a big crossover. It's going to be lots of fun. Thanks for being a fan. And I was like, wow, Gail Simone actually spoke to me. That was awesome for me. But let's get on to this particular issue of Secret 6. This is 22. This is the wrap-up of the Catman story, and it was fantastic. Great stuff. Great wrap-up. I love the storytelling. Everything is just well done. I don't know what else to say without possibly spoiling it. When a book is this good, I don't want to spoil it because there are probably so many fans out there who are not reading this or who have not read this yet. And I got to agree with Craig, and I got to thank him for getting me jumping on board with this particular title. And if you're not reading Secret 6 right now, you should be. Man, this is simply fantastic. And Gail Simone, once again, if you're watching this, love this stuff. Keep doing Secret Six like this, and you will have a lifetime buyer, or at least as long as this series can last, whichever comes first. Great stuff again from Gail Simone and California. I don't know if I pronounced that name right, and I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it right, but well worth your $2.99. Well worth it. I can't say anything else about it because I'm too afraid I'll spoil it. Well, that's all I got for this week, everybody. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.